Hi, so in this video, I'm so excited to participate. Actually, I'm so excited I couldn't even wait to do it. I just went straight to my shelf after I saw Natalia from Ouroboros, or Ouroboros. Her channel is a revelation to me. I watched one of her videos where she says, "Do we need another YouTube channel?" Yes, yes, we do need another YouTube tarot channel, and yes, we do. We need we need all different perspectives. I want to watch videos about people who collect. I want to watch videos about people who are psychologists or therapists, and how I want to watch them all. I want to watch videos of tarot enthusiasts that are witches, that are Catholic, that are Jewish. I want to see them all. Yes, we need them all. All right, so let me get to it. The hashtag, as you'll see in the box below, is Council of Seven. And Natalia, I will link to Natalia's video where she started this hashtag, share your 7 tarot decks. Think of yourself as a sovereign, as a queen or king, and who are your councilmen or councilwomen? Who are that you turn to make important decisions? And while I was watching her video, first of all, her deck selection is like, oh my God, her deck selection makes me feel like a child. No, seriously, you have to go watch her video. I know everybody has, and I instantly loved her at first sight because she's a Scorpio, and I have a connection with Scorpios. I think I know I was born premature, but not so premature that I would have been a Scorpio. But I'm a Leo. When I had my chart done for the first time, my birth chart done for the first time, my moon was in Scorpio, and then I don't know why now, and then when I had it done another time, my moon was in Libra. But I really relate to Scorpio energy, and which is interesting because my sun is Leo, and my rising sign is Virgo, which is compatible with Scorpio. So I don't know, I just have this whole thing going on. I'm sorry. I have a high-pitched sound inside my right ear that usually my husband will describe that as I'm receiving a transmission, and I don't know what that's about, but later. Okay. Where was I? Oh yeah, my Council of Seven. So here goes. That high-pitched. I just recorded a different video. Before this, I recorded another video before this one, and it's probably one of the people I mentioned trying to call me. But anyway, let's go. Council of Seven. So like I was saying, and I got completely derailed. I derailed myself. The 7 tarot decks that, imagine yourself a sovereign. Excuse me. Oh my God. You're a king, a queen. And who are your the 7 counselors, or the 7 individuals on your council when it comes to important decision making? So I went to my shelf, and I'm in the process of doing a cull of decks that, it's the hard cull. Like I did the easy one. I don't like these decks, and here's what I'm doing with them. Now I'm doing the more difficult one. I love these decks. I'm not doing anything with them. So I'm right in there, and I knew right away which to pick up, which is pretty interesting because at least one of them surprised me, because it was one of them in my Council of Seven was that 2 of them actually are decks that one is I've only read, like, mostly read for other people with this deck. Like I've read for myself as well, but it's not a deck that they're all mass produced. This I have to say. Sorry. So if you came here looking for sexy decks, not that these are not sexy, but I don't have any independently produced decks in this, I only own one that's a tarot that's independently produced. Everything else is widely available. Okay, one of them is out of print in this format. But anyway, what's wrong with me? I think I'm a little hyper. I've had quite a bit of coffee, and my last video, I think I'm swinging back the other way. The other, you know, it was a different kind of energy, and okay. 5 minutes, I've said nothing, I've shown you nothing. So let's start. I did not prepare for this video. So I grabbed my Council of 7. There's 8, but I have an explanation for that one. I grabbed my Council of 7, and I figured I'd do this by the seat of my pants. Winging it. Just to see what happens. And then if I think this video stinks, I just won't upload it. How's that? All right. So if you're watching this, I didn't think it stinks. Hopefully you don't either. Okay, let's start. I have a very important decision to make. And of course, I'll start with, okay, well, this first deck has been with me for quite some time. And this first deck has actually been my Queen's Hand, or you know what I mean? Has been a council member, has been a trusted member of my council ever since I was in my 20s. It has helped me make extremely important decisions in my life. But it doesn't. The personality of this deck, and it is the Morgan-Greer, but this is this council person, okay, this person on my council has helped me make important decisions, but has never told me what the right course of action is. Never. It's that wise person who just sits there and listens to you while you talk it out on your own and figure it out on your own. And then looks at you and says, and after you've talked it out and figured it out, looks at you and says, okay, well then, make it so. So this one, I've had this one with me for a very long time. It replaced my yellow box Rider-Waite, and I didn't realize until I went and picked it off my shelf that it was, and still is, my steady and true. Imagine that. So I learned something about myself already from the first deck. The next deck is the person on the council who, the next one, the personality, it's a sage. You know what I mean? That wise person. The one that speaks in metaphor and allegory and laughs at me when I'm trying to figure things out and don't get it. I don't see the lesson. When I don't see the bigger picture and I'm focusing on the details, this is that council member, and it is the Mythic Tarot, which is still in order because I placed it in order for a previous video. Here's what surprised me about the Mythic Tarot. As part of the group of 7, Council of 7. This was on the chopping block. This, I thought, oh my gosh, you know what? I have not reached for this in so long. Maybe I should pass it on to someone who will love it. And then, when I went to my shelf to grab my Council of 7, this is the first one I grabbed. This one has the guidebook. I have the guidebook. And this is probably the only tarot deck that I use the guidebook. Because the guidebook is phenomenal. Even if all you could get is the new Mythic Tarot, it's worth the cost of the guidebook. Because Each suit is a myth, is a Greek myth, and it takes you through that myth, from ace to king. It also, as in my Council of Seven, it stands in the place of a dear friend, my kuma, my dear friend Terry, who, this is her one and only tarot deck. And it has almost taken on a personified form, or I don't know how to explain it because I'm a little overwhelmed with emotion right now. Not because I'm inarticulate. This is like having Terry. It tells, it sits back. The personality of this deck is that on the council is that it sits back, it observes, it laughs at me because I am not seeing the bigger picture. And it'll wait until I spin out, and then it'll calmly tell me a story. And that story is an allegory to what I'm experiencing. So that's that person. The next deck is my therapist, or it's a member of my Council of Seven who looks at life through the lens, it's a psychological lens. It's my therapist friend. It's my psychology major friend who will take whatever situation and it will lead me to look at what are other people's motivations, what are my motivations, why are they behaving that way, why am I behaving that way, why are they reacting to me this way, why am I reacting to them or to the situation this way. So it's the Osho Zen Tarot. Now, I couldn't give a rat's ass who Osho is. I don't know. I didn't even delve. I understand from what people have said that he's controversial. I don't even, guidebook is somewhere. It's in that box that looks like a VHS tape box that the first edition came in. I've never even opened the guidebook. I just know this deck as the deck I turn to when I'm looking for a more psychological understanding of people and events. So that's the third one. Of course, being a magical person myself, I could not have a Council of Seven that did not include a witch or a mage. And that would be my Raven's Prophecy Tarot. This tarot is magic. It is magic. This is the wizard on my council. This is my Merlin. And I can't imagine not having a Merlin on my Council of Seven. And I'm telling you now, all these decks, these are my forever decks. What you'll notice, I'll explain the absence of one specific deck when I get to the the end of these, and why? Because it again, I approached this from I didn't think about it. I didn't give it too much thought. Go in, get your Council of Seven, and I did. And I had my Council of Seven in front of me, that was it. And there is another deck that I didn't include, which is going to be surprising if you've been watching me for 5 minutes. But anyway, here goes. Then there's the next person on my Council of Seven. This person is the artist. This person is they're the artist, they're the liberal, They're the, oh, I'm trying to remember the word in English. Oh my God, isn't that terrible? English is my first language, but I speak so many languages that, anyway, it's my Marielle. The word will come to me. This is a subversive. This is the subversive artist on my council. This is also in order. This is the subversive artist on my council of 7. This is that person who shows up, or like it just sits quietly, and while we're all focused on mundane, logical, analytical, psychological, comes out of left field and says, why don't we just bomb them? So, yeah. Why don't we just bomb them? Or why don't we just ignore them? Or why don't we just enslave them? You know what I mean? It's that person. And I feel that I need to have this council member, the one that really is hardcore subversive. That's the subversive is the confrontational. Subversive, confrontational, unorthodox, visceral. You know, the one that shows up and says, looks at the mage and say, hey, why don't you just split open that calf and let's read its entrails? And the mage looks at them and goes, what the fuck is your problem? Everybody needs that friend. Everybody needs that person as their counselor. Marielle. Mine, I probably should have mentioned, mine is the first edition. I trimmed all the black borders off and I edged mine in black. I love this deck. Confrontational, subversive. Love this council member. My next one, if you've been watching me for 5 minutes, is, oh maybe not, I don't mention it that often, is this one, Tarot of the She. I love this deck so much. I have 2. And they're modified in different ways. Today I brought this one out. So this is the council member. And now that I'm looking at it, because again, I didn't prepare for this. This is the council member that I met in my 20s and first introduced me to the concept of, what do you want? Who are you? This is the philosopher. This is the philosopher. This is the one that when I look to them for guidance will ask me, what feels like you in terms of decision, right or wrong? This is the counselor that says, always go with what feels right to you, right or wrong, and then just, if you fuck up, take responsibility for it. Own it. But do what is right. Do what is right to you. If you feel, if you want to look at it in a kingdom kind of sense, if you feel that You need to burn that village to the ground? Do it. Take responsibility for it. Be accountable. If you think you should feed the entire village, because you feel that's the right thing to do, even though all the farmers involved who are going to lose money because you're going to compel them to feed the poor may come for your head, do it. Be accountable. Oops, that's the glyph, that's the back. So, Tarot of the She. I can't imagine getting rid of any of these decks. These are with me for the long haul. And that's probably why it was easy for me to just go to the shelf and pick my Council of Seven. Number 7. And then I have an honorable mention, or I have something else. Number 7, my Druid craft. My Druid craft is my spiritual advisor, my priest, my moral compass. This, or rather, yeah, moral compass usually is someone who's like so good that they're a very moral person and you look to them for direction. Priests, they're human, but let me rephrase that. This is my spiritual advisor. This is my spiritual advisor that always tells me to look inward and to do the right thing. That's some Druid craft. As you can see, mine's completely naked. I adore it. And it's my spiritual advisor. It is I would even say, just like I have a magician, a Merlin, this would be the oracle. This would be like my oracle, Sybil oracle that I go to, but their advice is always altruistic, and it's always ethical, and it's always, this is a situation, you're gonna have to do the right thing. That's my Council of 7. Honorable mention, because I couldn't leave it on my shelf. It just looked at me like, seriously? You're not gonna include me? And of course, every sovereign who is still lucky to have a parent living. So if I'm the queen and Queen Mother is still living, this is who she is. Or if I'm the queen and the king is still living, this is who this deck is. And it's the Guardian Angel Tarot that was first by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine, and now it's by Radley Valentine, because let's face it, it really was by Radley Valentine in the first place. This is the deck of, this is mom or dad, mostly mom. I would say it's the Queen Mother or grandmother to the Queen. And when the Queen is feeling vulnerable, scared, because life is harsh, this is where the Queen goes for nurturing. And for nurturing, for strength, and for courage to carry on. I really, really enjoyed the experience of recording this video, Natalia. Thank you so much. Again, the link to her channel and her video introducing the Council, hashtag the Council of Seven, is in the box below. I just thank you, Natalia, and thank you all for watching, and I wish you all a beautiful day. I hope, oh, and before I go, I hope you do this hashtag. Please do this VR if you're a content creator. If you're not a content creator yet, use this hashtag as your springboard for your channel. Again, now I'll let you go. Thank you all for watching, and I wish you all a beautiful day.